Hello everyone. My topic is identify the relationship between dollar exchange rates and American stock price. As dramatically increase in the overwhelming globalization and world trade, exchange rates have become one of the determinants of business profitability. Both exchange rates and stock price can influence the country's economy. Additionally, the investors are interested in predicting future trends and making right decisions, so it's very important to identify the relationship between them. While much research has been done to find the behavior of the two variables, however, there is no consensus neither in empirical nor in theoretical level regarding the direction of this relationship. In this paper, we investigate whether American stock price and dollar exchange rates are related and if the answer is yes, what is the relationship between them? Here's the basic steps toward study. Data collection. The data carried from October 25th, 2011 to October 21st, 2016. The frequency of the data is kept at daily level. We use Nasdaq index to update the whole American stock market behavior. The historical data was from Yahoo Finance, and the exchange rate pair historical data was from Coando. And then we calculate the correlation coefficient of each exchange rate pair and the Nasdaq index. The common correlation coefficient is the Pearson correlation coefficient. The formula is given by the covariance divided by standard deviation of two variables. And here's the result of correlation coefficient. From the chart, we can see that some exchange rate pairs show a very high correlation coefficient and some show a very low correlation coefficient, approach 0, as you can see. And some have a positive one and some have negative value. For example, the correlation coefficient between THB2USD and the Nasdaq index is about 0.95 and UZS2USD and the Nasdaq index is about minus 0.96. In order to, if there is real causality between them, we do Granger causality test. And before we do that test, we should do a stationary test because the Granger causality test is based on stationary test series. The common stationary test is ADF test. It tests the null hypothesis of a unit test. That means if a time series have a unit root test, that means the time series is not stationary. And here's the result. Here's from the chart we can see that some exchange rate pair have a very high p-value. That means we can't reject the hypothesis. That means this time series is not stationary, but some such as ETB to USD exchange rate pair, that the p is 0. That means that time series is stationary and can be used to do Granger causality test. Granger causality test that can be used to predict the future trends of another variable if there is a Granger causality relationship between them. When X Granger cause Y, that pattern in X will repeat in Y in lifetime. The Granger causality test is based on two hypotheses, A Granger cause B and B Granger cause A. And it will give you a p-value. That means if the p is very small, approach zero, I mean, so I can reject this hypothesis. That means A really do Granger cause B. Here's the results. That from the chart we can see that some exchange rate pair interact with Nasdaq index, such as UZS to USD, and some may influence Nasdaq in one way. Conclusions: Nasdaq through Granger cause AFN to USD, BWP to USD, HN to USD exchange rate in pairs in one way, and ETB to USD, NIO to USD, UZS to USD exchange rate pairs interact with Nasdaq index. And according to the correlation coefficient, we can draw a conclusion that Nasdaq's index is negative relative to above exchange rate pairs. This result is consistent with classical flow-oriented model. So this relationship can be used to predict trend of one index. Evaluation. And firstly, my data is taken from recent 5 years, so it's very fresh. That can give you a accurate explanation of relationship under current political and economic environment. Secondly, a new approach was used. I used exchange rate pairs independently to do analysis. In formal research, people want to draw a conclusion that if the stock price can interact with the US dollars and how they interact. For example, US dollars goes high as stock price goes high. However, exchange rate is a ratio of two currencies. The value of US dollars is represented by another currency. Other currency may also go high when US dollars go high, especially in the booming time. But the exchange rate pair can reflect the relationship between two currencies. We should know that each currency represented an economy. So maybe there is a probability that American stock price correlated with one or some currency independently. So based on this hypothesis, I chose exchange rate pair to do analysis. It's about I pick almost all currency around the world through USD pairs. It's about 160 exchange rate pair, and then I filter the useless exchange rate pair and do next relationship analysis. And because the limit of time, I did not take inflation into account. Inflation is a factor that can influence the Nasdaq index. For the further study, we should take it into consideration so that make the relationship more accurate. And I will show you the project. Here's the project that can be used to calculate correlation coefficient. There's a package called Math Pandas and NAMI. NAMI is very important because it can translate the CVS to a matrix, so the data can be used to do math. And Granger causality. Oh, we should know very important factor that is max lag, because Granger causality is very sensitive to lag. So different lag may result in different causality results. So I look up the references and to decide what lag is. In my study, the lag is true. And here's the reference. Thank you for your attention.